Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Fruitcast. I'm Jason Sukamel, joined by Cole Patterson. As always, Cole, we're going to get into pretty active week for you, man. You're going to be out and about this week, checking out some pretty important games. We'll talk about that. I talked to a couple of Texas commitments this week, so we'll talk about that. Then we're going to do a little fun Q&A just to kind of fill things out a little bit that some readers from Orange Bloods sent in. Before we get into all that, everybody do us a favor. Like the videos, subscribe to the channel, get your notifications, man. We're doing so many videos on this channel. Ketch and Almar are doing their thing. Cole and I will be doing, obviously, the Fruitcast weekly, maybe even sometimes multiple times in a week if news warrants. So do that. Also, go to primeshrimp.com. Where are you at over here? Get $20 off your first order with the promo code Orange Bloods. I finally tried the lemon pepper shrimp. Did I talk about this last week? Hell, I can't remember, man. But I finally tried it. I made a steak. Oh, you know what? No, it was Friday because I met a buddy and I came home and I cooked a steak and made the lemon pepper prime shrimp. Had some mashed potatoes. I took a picture of it literally and texted my buddy like, check it out, dude. That lemon pepper shrimp is legit. Their new flavor. So check out Prime Shrimp. Get your $20 off with that promo code. So Cole, I'm going to start us off a little bit and we'll bounce back and forth, and then I'm going to throw the mic to you or throw the action to you. But I want to start off talking about my conversation with Derek Williams, the Rivals 100 safety out of Louisiana who's committed to Texas. In a nutshell, when I talked to Derek this weekend, I think it was Sunday night, he told me he is going to take his other visits. He's got one scheduled for Alabama on October 7th. And then he said he's also going to visit probably LSU, Texas A&M in Miami. He's already taken his Texas official visit, of course, and he committed a day after returning home from that visit. So I'll ask you, man, part of the reason I called him, if I'm being honest, I thought he might take other visits. He's an out-of-state guy. He committed really quickly, probably quicker than most of us expected him to. He's a top national player. What is he, number 40 on the Rivals 100, just outside of that 5-star range. So you knew these other schools weren't going to go away. I wasn't too surprised, I guess, when he said, yeah, I'm going to go check out these other schools. Just kind of all the pieces seem to fit there. Out-of-state guy, committed early. I don't want to say on a whim, certainly, but committed earlier than expecting. So your thoughts on Derek Williams taking other visits? Were you surprised to hear that news? How worried do you think Texas fans should be about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too worried about it or too surprised about it just because, like I said, out-of-state commit. He committed, I guess that was on his official visit, just leaving it at official visit. So you always have to be wary about that. But yeah, he's an out-of-state guy, borderline 5-star. You know, LSU is going to try to get back next. Alabama was a contender there before he committed. So not all too shocking. I think we even discussed after he committed, he's one of those guys that you just have to continue to recruit as if he's uncommitted. And some people will wonder what that even means. I really just, don't, take the foot off the gas pretty much. Just, recruit him, treat him like a priority. I'm not sure if Texas fans should be worried per se. He's still committed. He's planning to get back for a game. But in my opinion, I think you do have to try to get him back at least, I would say at least twice. I mean, I know he's trying to get there once. I would probably hope to get him at least twice before signing day. But yeah, I don't think it's way too early to panic. He's still committed. He's still in communication. I know Jamel Johnson said he talks to him. Arch, obviously there's a relationship there. Jonte. So, I mean, obviously he's still committed, so way too early to panic. But something to keep an eye on for sure. See what games he gets to, if he actually does see other campuses. Something worth monitoring, but nothing to worry about, at least not panic about right now.
Yeah, I would say we should worry a little, Texas fans, but not panic. A lot of times, Cole, these guys will say, I'm going to take all these visits, and then it doesn't really happen because they're so busy with their own football season. They play Friday night. So if he takes all those visits, it may not happen till like late November, December. The Alabama one he has set for October 7th. I'm kind of keeping an eye on that one. I checked with an Alabama source, and they're like, we'll see if that actually happens because they already have a couple safeties committed. Saban really doesn't like to bring in a lot of guys during the season. So I could see that one being moved or maybe even fall through the cracks or maybe be replaced with a different school. We'll see. But like you said, I do agree. Texas really needs to get him back. He said he wants to come back for a game, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I don't know, maybe in December right before the early signing period, Texas tries to get its committed guys back on campus. It'd be unofficial visits at that point. But, just to get that last impression, because he is a key member of this class that certainly Texas would love to have and frankly can't afford to lose. You need to keep Derek Williams in the fold. So a story to monitor. We'll keep an eye on it. But like you said, don't hit the panic button just yet, Texas fans. But it's okay if you're a little worried. Anytime a player of his caliber is talking other visits, it's worth being worried a little bit about. The other one, and I haven't run this on Orange Blood, so we're going to talk about it on this video, and I'll probably run it tomorrow. I did talk to Jonah Wilson, the Spring Decaney receiver. He also committed to Texas this summer. I think he announced it on Sunday, like the day his visit was wrapping up. It was such a blur. We had so many commitments coming in like rapid fire, but I'm pretty sure he announced
it at the same time, pretty much.
Yes, that's exactly right. They were the first ones on Sunday. You're right. And he told me, I did talk to Jonah. I said, because we had heard he was going to commit, right? We were kind of on guard with that. He said he actually committed at Sark's house, which I think would be Sunday morning for breakfast. And then he announced it Sunday afternoon. Jonah's a different story than Derek Williams. I mean, he was rock solid, doesn't really have any interest in seeing anywhere else, I don't think. Just looking forward to having a big senior season, showing everybody what he can do and, and maybe elevate his stock in the eyes of viewers and recruiting rankings and things of that nature. So not quite as sexy of a story, but frankly, if you're a Texas fan, those are the kind of stories you like, a guy that's locked in and not planning to waver. He still talks to Brennan Marion quite a bit, still loves his commitment, still feels great about it. So good news there that Jonah Wilson is locked in. Now, Cole, I want to jump forward a little bit. I want to throw it to you and let you preview. You got a busy weekend. Did you send me your list of games you're going to be hitting? And even I was like, damn, that's one hell of a list for to start the season off with. So go ahead, man, take the mic and run with it. Talk about these games you're going to see this weekend, the guys you're going to see this weekend, and who you're hoping to see, talk to this weekend.
Yeah, like you said, a big slate to open the season. I'm set to see 4 games as of now. We'll see what happens on Friday night, but as of right now, I'm set to see Arlington Martin versus Lake Travis on Thursday night. I believe that game will be on ESPN2, so you can watch it from your house, kind of check the game out there. But obviously, 5-star Javien Toviano is going to be the headliner of that game. Big Texas State, a guy that's kind of hard to read. One time you talk to him, you think it's Texas. Next time it's A&M. LSU's in the mix, so we'll be able to see him play live and try to get some comments out of him, see where Texas stands for him and his recruitment. Friday, there's 2 big games in my area. Allen hosts St. John Bosco in a big game. I'm actually planning to see McKinney Boyd versus Longview. Might try to see if I can see half of the first game and see, second half of the next game. But we'll see how that all plays out. But obviously, Jalen Hale is the headliner of that Longview McKinney Boyd matchup out in McKinney. Borderline 5-star receiver. He's a 6.0 prospect on Rivals. Moved up in the top 35. A guy that me and you both think is going to choose Texas. I guess that'll be in a month. A little less than a month. September 21st, 24th.
Yeah, 21st.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Yeah. So we'll be able to see him. We talked to him down in College Station at the state 7-on-7 tournament, and he had a lot of good things to say about Arch Manning and Steve Sarkisian. Ever since then, seems like the momentum's been going Texas's way. With Jonte Cook kind of leading the charge, recruiting him, and social media, all these commits, kind of making it obvious that he's a guy that they really want to join them. So I'll be able to see him play, get an update on Jalen Hale. And then Saturday, there's a doubleheader. I'll be staying up in McKinney for McKinney versus Temple. I believe that's a noon o'clock game, 11 a.m., around lunchtime. So I'll start my morning off there. Brian Jackson, he's a 2024 running back out of McKinney, who included Texas in his top 10. Obviously, you got Mikhail Harrison-Pilot out of Temple on the other side of the matchup. A guy that was, trending towards Texas, and then, Jalen Hale started trending that same way. It remains to be seen how many receivers they want to take, but, still on Texas radar, so it'll be good to see him. And then Saturday night's a big matchup. Got South Oak Cliff versus Duncanville. I believe that game's also going to be ESPN2. Malik Muhammad's going to be in that game. Billy Walton's in that game, Texas commit. Javon Thomas, an A&M commit who, we'll see if Texas is getting the game there. Two loaded teams. Duncanville has Colin Simmons, is currently #1 player in 2024. Kadavian Dotson, who's pretty high on Texas, top 100 player 2024. So just a loaded matchup. I'll be at 4 games. Pretty big slate to open the season. Seems like the offseason flew by. Seems like we were at the Rivals camp like 2 weeks ago, and now we're actually going to see real football. So, I'm pretty excited. So make sure to stay tuned to Orange Bloods for all of that.
Yeah, that game Saturday night, man, that's must watch if you're a high school football fan or a recruiting fan. Or listen, if you just like football in general, that's must watch television. Yeah, so yeah, I'll look forward to seeing that. Maybe I'll see your smiling face on the sidelines from the comfort of my living room on Saturday night. All right, Cole, let's
photobomb somebody.
There you go, man. Make sure to get some camera time one way or another, man. So just don't get arrested. Don't think too crazy.
Exactly.
I want to transition, Cole. It's not the biggest newsworthy week. I mean, you got an incredibly action-packed weekend, but again, coaches are busy preparing for their season. Prospects are getting ready for obviously big games coming up this weekend. So I had some Orange Bloods subscribers send me questions. I did a Q&A. We're going to go through some of what I thought were the more interesting recruiting questions. We'll see. Usually you and I are pretty synced up in our answers, but maybe we'll have some variation in some of these answers. So I'm going to throw the first one to you, and then I'll kind of touch base on my answers. It said, who are the 5 Texas, meaning in the state of Texas, prospects from the 2024 class, guys that are about to be juniors, of course, that are most likely to commit to Texas? Now, they do have 2 current commitments in that class, Texas does. I cheated and put those 2 in my answers, but kind of just, some 2024 guys that you think are likely to be in this class, or a strong chance, I should.
Yeah, for sure. Jaden Allen out of Aledo, and then you got Aaron Hampton out of Dangerfield, too. 6.0 prospects on Rivals, actually, so they're already committed. If you're looking for uncommitted guys, I'll give you a few come to my mind. Peyton Pierce is a guy that jumps to my mind automatically. He's a linebacker out of Lovejoy, 6.0 linebacker, borderline top 30 player in the country. I think he's number 3 at his position. This guy, every time I talk to him, he very high on Texas. Coach Cho, everything that they're doing down there. He was down there in July when we were on campus. He's made at least 2 or 3 visits to Texas over the last couple of months. So it seems like they're always in the mix there. Let's see who else. I would probably say, I'd have to throw in Zena Zulu out of Allen. I don't know if I would put a prediction in today, but guy that, he has a connection to Texas, his older brother, Nato, is a guy that can get some playing time as a true freshman on the offensive line. Again, they're battling A&M in Oklahoma, but he's a guy that I could see signing with Texas when push comes to shove. By no means a guarantee, but a guy that you want to have on your radar. Kadavian Dotson, a guy we just talked about. Every time I talk to him, he really likes Texas, and LSU is also in the picture there. But he really likes Texas. A good friend of his is Corian Gibson out of Lancaster, safety as well. I'll throw in one more. Freddie DeBose. He's the guy that's always been high on Texas. I know A&M's kind of made a push there, made something in his recruitment. But that's another guy that's every time we talk to him, it seems like Texas is right there at the top.
Those are interesting answers, and I'll tell you why. Because every one of those guys except Corian Gibson just missed my cut. I was looking to name 5, and I had Peyton Pierce, and then I erased him, put him out. Freddie DeBose, he would have been number 1 on my list a month ago, but he told me recently A&M's now in front. Zena, I literally put in my write-up. I was like, Zena seems like a smart choice, but with all the love he's showing for A&M and Oklahoma, I was like, I'm bumping out of my top 5. I actually went with, of course, Jaden Allen and Aaron Hampton. I said if Texas pushes there, I think Caleb Mitchell-Irving, the defensive lineman, he's always at UT, man. So I think he'd have a good chance. I did say Corian Gibson. I agree with you, the safety from Lancaster. Every time I talk to him, it's big smile ear to ear talking about Texas. He was at the pool party in late July.
He was wearing the Texas gloves in his scrimmage against DeSoto the other day. Right. So definitely Texas in the mix there.
And the last one, another guy, I think, who recently had Texas gloves on, bit of a wild card. I went with wide receiver Parker Livingstone. He's pretty open, Parker is, but, man, he's got friends down in Austin. And like I said, he had Texas gloves on. Texas offered him recently. And I knew he was really high on that offer. So he's pretty open though when I did talk to him. But I could see him being a part of this class. Again, all of this, it's so early.
He made a Peyton Pierce, so that probably won't hurt, So yeah,
absolutely, yeah. And all this is assuming that these are guys that 6 months from now the Texas staff is still prioritizing. They may have different guys move up or down the pecking order. So we'll see. But next question, Cole, and addressed to me. It's just this is a tough one, and so I think we'll be mostly on the same page. But it was tough to fill out the answer to this question. Take your best shot right before the season. Who are all of the members of the 2023 football recruiting class? And before you answer, I said, well, let's, for the sake of basically keeping everybody happy and making it somewhat not easy, but less complicated, I said, let's go ahead and assume that all the current guys stay committed. And honestly, probably they don't. You'll probably see one or two peel off at some point for various reasons. It just happens every year. But just for the sake of argument, let's say the current guys stay committed. Who do you think fills out the rest of this recruiting class?
Man, that's a tough one. I might have to let you go first on that. Let me.
I'll go first, and then I'll go position by position. They're done at quarterback, right? They're done at running back. I don't think they're going to take any more offensive linemen. I predict Jalen Hale to be in this class at wide receiver. That's it at wide receiver. They'll take the Deuce Robinson tight end if he wants to come, but I didn't predict him. So my answer, Cole, I went with Jalen Hale. I went with Marcus Deal, the defensive lineman. Bit of a wild card here, but I went with Tadarius Tootie Collins, a defensive lineman out of Louisiana, just because Texas needs another kind of edge guy, and he fits that mold. Texas has offered him. I think of all of his offers, Texas is probably the most appealing to him. LSU has not offered yet. He's a Louisiana kid, but LSU hasn't offered. So I went with Tootie Collins for a bit of a wild card pick. I put Javien Toviano in there. Maybe, I don't know, man.
Really?
He's a tough one to predict, but I was like, whatever. I got to fill this damn list out somehow or another. So, and then I said, okay, I'm going to throw in one potential flip too, because there's going to be something unforeseen. So I went with Braylon Shelby. There's been some chatter of Colton Bosick flipping from Oklahoma. Not quite there yet. I went with Braylon Shelby as a possible flip. So to recap, Jalen Hale, Marcus Deal, Tadarius Collins, Javien Toviano, Braylon Shelby. That's 5 guys. That puts Texas at 27. And honestly, there'll probably be somebody pop up, like a pop up late, that we're not really seeing. Savion Red did it last year. The defensive lineman out of Ethan Burke from Westlake did it. So, there are going to be some unexpected twists and turns. But that was my answer, Cole. So give me what you got, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with anything you said, but it's just funny to look back on a month ago. We were pretty confident, Anthony Hill and Jordan Matthews and those guys. So it kind of shows how hard it is to predict, months down the road. But it's definitely it's hard for me to disagree. The 2 guys the one guy I feel pretty confident in would probably Marcus Deal. That's probably the guy I'm most confident in. It seems like if Texas makes that final push, they can get a vote. He could be a really good offensive lineman down the road, but really good player to name him for us. Jalen Hale is probably the guy I'm most confident in. It's almost kind of covering him as if he's committed, just because of how much we talk about him. So almost slipped my mind. But yeah, Jalen Hale, I feel pretty confident will be in this class. I do like how you included Collins. I know Nick Harris was down there in Louisiana. I had some updates on him. I don't know if I can go as far as you with Toviano just yet. They obviously could pull him in. That's a guy they're definitely in the mix for. You can get him. Talk about a tremendous defensive back class with Malik Muhammad, Jamel Johnson, and Derek Williams. So that would be the cherry on top. But yeah, I think Braylon Shelby, is a guy that is definitely a flip candidate to Texas. He's a guy that we were like chances, kind of leading up to that decision, and leading him to the week of that decision. We liked where Texas was. We always said Texas right there with USC. They're close to home. We always say to keep an eye on that when push comes to shove there. I would agree with all your calls there. The 2 guys are probably Jalen Hale and Marcus Steele of that group.
Yeah, and Jalen Hale's the only one who has a commitment date. Those other guys are kind of wide open at this point in terms of when they might announce. I mean, it could be next month in September. It could be December on a lot of these guys. And that kind of leads me into the next question, Cole. Who is the next defensive commitment? I went with Marcus Deal because I think, like you, of all the defensive prospects, he's probably the one I feel best about in terms of Texas's chances. So I would assume that you probably would agree with me that Marcus Deal would be your pick for the next defensive commitment. But then again, Marcus may not decide till December, man. So it's hard to say, right?
It's hard to predict. But yeah, he's probably the guy that we probably have the best odds of Texas landing. But there's also been smoke that Toviano can make a pretty early decision.
That's been going on for like 5 months. We've been hearing that Toviano it's gonna be next month, the next month, the next month, the next month.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's a guy that could, commit any day now. He could commit right after the opener. He could wait till signing day. But if we're confident that Texas can Toviano is a guy that can announce any time, it's just like you said, Hale is the only dude with an announcement day. All these guys can pop at any moment. So just to be safe, I'll probably lean with you and say Marcus Deal. I think we're pretty confident of where things stand going into September, at least late August going into September.
Yeah. Last one, someone asked, where does Texas stand with? And they named 5 players. David Hicks, DJ Hicks, Toviano, we've talked about him, so I don't think we need to address him. Ravian Rogers, former A&M commitment. Marcus Deal, we've talked about him, and Jalen Hale. So let's pare it down. We'll just talk about DJ Hicks and Ravian Rogers. And unfortunately, it's not the best of updates. Maybe we should talk about the other guys because I've got Texas in a striking position for DJ Hicks, but probably I feel pretty comfortable saying Oklahoma's the team to beat there. Ravian Rogers decommits from A&M. Never was a guy that just was really feeling Texas too much. I think I mentioned that on last week's Crewcast, like when I talked to him down at Texas Relays. He's on the UT campus. And I'm like, hey, are you going to try to go see the Texas coaches? He's like, nah, I don't know, probably not. So, he likes Texas. I'm not saying Texas doesn't have a shot, but I don't think Texas is in that upper echelon with Ravian Rogers. And I think Texas is probably running third at best for DJ Hicks. Now, Hicks, I need to follow up with his dad. He did tell me over the summer, hey, they are coming to the Texas-Alabama game, so maybe Texas gets him back on campus in a couple weeks. That would be big for Texas if that happens, but I still think Texas is running a little behind in that race.
Yeah, for sure. I was a lot more confident about Hicks to Texas. Really, when Arch committed, I would say, they have a relationship there, and he's mentioned to me the attraction of playing with a guy like Arch and things like that. But, if they weren't able to get him back on campus at the end of July, some of the momentum stalled, things down there. But, yeah, OU seems to be the team to beat right now. But I don't think it's I don't think they're in the lead that they can't, give up. I think A&M is making a move there. I think Texas could make a move with a good season and getting him back on campus. So he's a player we'll continue to watch. But like you said, we don't think Texas is in the driver's seat by any means in that recruitment. And, Ravian Rogers surprised many when he decommitted from A&M. LSU is kind of in the mix there. And I've heard of Ohio State's trying to make a move as well. Even A&M still in the picture. So, yeah, I don't know where Tech's there. Like you said, I want to put them in a top tier. Maybe if they can get on the campus like Hicks, they can make a move. But, it seems like Toviano's their priority. They want to see what Toviano does, and, we'll see what happens from there. But, yeah, who knows what Ravian? I feel like he has a pretty unpredictable recruitment, so we'll see what happens. But I want to get my hopes up if you're a Texas fan just yet.
Yeah, even his commitment to A&M was a bit surprising. They offered him, and it was like less than a week later he committed. So usually that's like, okay, he's pretty solid because he obviously knows that's where he wants to go, and then he just randomly decommits and kind of catches everybody by surprise. So he's a bit of a wild card. But again, I'd be surprised as it stands now if Texas was in the mix. If Texas has any hope of landing DJ Hicks, a couple things have to happen. Bo Davis has done a terrific job. He has to continue to do a terrific job. DJ Hicks' dad, like when I say, what has Texas in the mix? It's like Bo Davis. That's the first word. It's Bo Davis. Come on, man. He's the man. So they love Bo Davis. Texas has to win and play much better defense this year if they want any chance of landing DJ Hicks. So Fun Q&A, Cole. I think we were mostly on the same page, except for maybe that first answer. The guys that you mentioned like just missed my cut, so that was kind of fun hearing your opinion. So I hope everybody else enjoyed it. Maybe we'll do this again. I do these Q&As on Orange Bloods every other week. I do my 3-2-1 column one week and then a Q&A the next week. So maybe we'll start integrating more of these questions into our Crewcast. They're kind of fun to hear for me. Sure. It's fun to hear your perspective. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. So with that, Cole, we will bid everyone farewell and safe travels to you this week. I know you're not going too far, but enjoy those games, man.
Appreciate
that's
it.
Impressive slate. Everybody, like these videos for us. Please, please, please subscribe to the channel and double, quick, triple, quadruple, please. Go get you some prime shrimp. I love it. I am almost out. I think I have one more pack, man. I've got to reload.
I'm already out.
Are you? You've probably been out. You went through it quicker than I did, I think. And my biggest challenge is fending off my children from eating all of it because my kids all love seafood.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, get your damn hands. In fact, I went downstairs last week and I tell these prime shrimp stories. One of the packages, they're in paper and then inside they're wrapped in, was written on it for my 11-year-old, for Quinn. And I'm like, no, that's not for Quinn. No. Yeah, she didn't want the other kids eating it. I'm like, I don't want any of them exactly. Including you, Quinn. So Prime Shrimp. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Prime Shrimp, for being a great sponsor and putting out a great product that we can willingly and brag about because it is fantastic. So everybody, and hey, I wanted to say, I never say thanks to Blake Skaggs, our producer, who puts these videos out and makes them look good and does all the stuff that you and I don't know how to do. So Blake, behind the scenes, thank you very much. Appreciate the help. So everybody have a great week. High school football season's here. College football is right around the corner. So we'll have a lot to talk about. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and we will talk to you next week.